These albums are all turning 20 years old in 2023. As we kick off the new year, let's take a look at some of the rock albums that will celebrate their 2-decade anniversaries over the next 12 months. First up, Evanescence's debut Fallen was released in March 2003, featuring the singles Bring Me to Life, My Immortal and Going Under. It has since been certified diamond in the US. Amy Lee hinted to us recently about their plans to mark the occasion.
I do have an idea. It's going to take a little bit of work, but I think it probably won't be what everybody expects. I think everybody just is like, oh, why don't you do a show that's like, just do an album, front to back. We've been playing so many shows. I would rather do something that, to me, like, I don't know. I don't want to give it away. Like, in case it doesn't work out, maybe I'll do nothing. Expect nothing. And then if I do something, you'll be really, really grateful.
Next up, the All-American Rejects self-titled debut record featuring the single Swing Swing was originally released in October 2002 in the US before being given a much wider re-release the following year after the band signed to DreamWorks Records. Tyson Ritter reflected on making the album backstage at When We Were Young Festival in Las Vegas.
A lot of people don't know, but two of us recorded that record, Nick and myself. And I was 17. I just graduated early from high school to go to New York. And I had $600 to last me 4 months, and I spent it in the first week. So what I remember about New York was cutting that record, living on chock full of nuts, coffee, and ramen noodles, and learning what recording music was about. We were doing this in closets, and this was when studios weren't on your Mac.
Yeah.
So for me, it was like, I think it's what's kind of it's where we always operate from, even to today. We try to just not categorize or judge what we're doing, as long as what we're doing comes from this place of sort of our discovery when we initially started.
The Postal Service will celebrate 20 years of their album Give Up with a huge US tour alongside Ben Gibbard's other project, Death Cab for Cutie. Ben looked back on the album and perfecting their indie electronic style during our video call chat last year.
I think we were just reintroducing people to a style of music that a certain generation had not been necessarily exposed to. And we just benefited from really good timing. We have to be like one of the first people to do it, and now, I don't think in directly because of our influence, but just because of the many ways that people make, the fact that more young people are making music on computers than with guitars, it seems these days. It feels that kind of template of using computers and synthesizers and drum machines to make electronic pop music is just that's just what indie rock is now for the most part.
Shinedown's debut Leave a Whisper featured singles Fly From the Inside, 45 and Burning Bright, with the deluxe edition later adding their famous cover of Lynyrd Skynyrd's Simple Man. Here's what frontman Brent Smith had to say about the record 20 years on.
We can totally look back and look back fondly of the beginning of the estate of the band and when the band began. And obviously that first album, Leave a Whisper, there's been a lot of people that are asking, will you play it in its entirety? Because it is the 20 year where you do a run of shows where you'll play it all the way. And I would say that would possibly happen, but it just has to be special. It just has to be, and you can't pander to those types of moments either. You have to make it very specific and do something where you're acknowledging it. You do maybe a one-night event where you do that.
Linkin Park's second studio album Meteora hit #1 on the Billboard 200 in March 2003, selling over 800,000 copies in the first week. It included massive singles like Faint, Numb, and Somewhere I Belong, and in an email message to fans last year, the band teased that they had some exciting news to share early in 2023, and signed off with the famous artwork image from the cover of Meteora. After previously celebrating the 20th anniversary of Hybrid Theory with a deluxe box set, could we soon get the same treatment for Meteora? AFI's Sing The Sorrow will also be celebrated in 2023, with the band playing the album in full at a special show in Los Angeles at the Forum venue. With special guests on the night including Jawbreaker and Chelsea Wolfe, the event will take place on March 11th with tickets on sale right now. Fall Out Boy have begun teasing their highly anticipated 8th studio album due out this year, and their debut record, Take This to Your Grave, was released by Fuel by Ramen on May 6, 2003. Tracks like Saturday and Grand Theft Autumn are still regularly featured within the band's live set, and they previously told us about the eventful video shoot where they put together the latter's classic music video.
On the way to make the Grand Theft Auto video, we got in a pretty horrible van accident. I won't say his name. I won't say Dancy's name, but he almost killed him. He says he slipped on black ice. He says he hit black ice. I think he hit his iPod too many times. But we ran into a forest.
Almost bit through my lip.
Yeah, and he went into shock. But no one actually got physically hurt. Because the whole van was destroyed, trailer was destroyed, gear was destroyed.
Then we did it in Detroit, around Michigan somewhere.
Was it in Michigan?
And then it was cold, and we did it in the snow. And that was it. Good night, thanks.
Alkaline Trio's fourth album, Good Mourning, remains one of the most celebrated modern punk albums, and when we caught up with the guys last year on their UK tour alongside Taking Back Sunday, they told us a little bit more about the record and its lasting impact, always finding new generations of fans.
I've been working on some stuff to pitch to everybody for a potential anniversary re-release. We'll see if it happens, but hopefully something will happen to mark the anniversary, because it's a really big record for us, like a big milestone, and I think we'd like to celebrate it somehow, whether it's with shows or some sort of release.
We'll talk about it at the quarterly meeting.
Yep. Man, it's always flattering when I hear people say that was the first punk record I ever bought or something like that. Yeah, I mean it's flattering because for us we were just it was just the next step in what we were doing. For me, it was my first proper record with the band, so that's huge for me.
Yellowcard returned to the stage at Riot Fest in Chicago last year, playing their classic album Ocean Avenue in full. Now they will be able to mark 2 decades of the record with a couple of special shows in the UK. Sing along to that title track, Only One and More, when Slam Dunk Festival takes place on May 27th and 28th. Dashboard Confessionals, A Mark, a Mission, a Brand, a Scar was released in August 2003 and has since been certified gold in the US. Alongside their MTV Unplugged session, it was the beginning of the band's huge commercial success in the 2000s. Story of the Year's debut, Page Avenue, was produced by John Feldman and included the song Until the Day I Die and has since gone platinum in the US. We asked the guys about how they reflect on that time and what they learned backstage at When We Were Young Festival last year.
Yeah, I mean, it's still the same thing. You find a producer and you write some songs and you get excited and you put songs out. But no, a lot has changed. But the same sentiment is still there. That's nice. We love music for certain reasons, and that never changes. And we do it because we love it. And we hope people like the songs when we put them out. But if they don't, that's all right. We do it because we love it.
The Darkness will head out on a huge arena tour in 2023 alongside Blackstone Cherry, and we are sure you will be able to hear plenty of cuts from their debut album Permission to Land, which reached #1 in the UK in 2003 thanks to the success of singles I Believe in a Thing Called Love and Growing on Me. The Offspring will return to the UK this May as the headline act at Slam Dunk Festival. This year also marks 20 years since the release of Splinter, which included the single Hit That, and opening track Neocon, which featured crowd vocals recorded during their set at Reading Festival, further solidifying the band's special relationship with the UK. Finally, Blink-182's much-anticipated reunion tour with Tom DeLonge kicks off soon, and their classic Untitled album was originally released in November 2003. It included some of the band's most beloved songs like Feeling This, I Miss You, Stockholm Syndrome, and Always. Here's a little look back into the Rock Sound archive at what Mark Hoppus had to say about how the music videos helped reflect the mood they captured on the album.
On the Untitled record, we definitely let the directors have a lot more leeway. When we did Feeling This with Dave LaChapelle, he really had the vision for that. We went to him and we said, we want to do something weird and rebellious and kind of like The Wall. We kept referencing The Wall in Pink Floyd when we were recording the Untitled record, and so he took that idea and had this idea about children in school that was kind of like a prison and made it really cool and artsy and weird.
So that's just a few of the rock albums turning 20 in 2023. Let us know your favourites down in the comments below. That's your Rock Sound News Update. I've been James Wilson Taylor. We will see you again soon.